Welcome back to Two Who's Review. I'm Alex,
I'm Fitz.
and today we will be talking about Planet of the Ood. Sam is back as part of the course for this season,
Yep.
and I'm very excited today to say that after 3.5 years of doing this podcast, we have a third guest. It's not
me.
just Sam and Hadley anymore. It's James.
It's me. I've crawled out from the pit at the back of your mind. I'm becoming real and tangible and threatening.
Welcome to the podcast, James.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome.
It's great to be here. Nice place you got.
Yeah,
the Two Who's Review studio, surprisingly spacious.
We are
Yeah.
definitely all in the same place right now.
Yep, great amenities.
Mm-hmm.
Waterfront views, which I wasn't expecting.
That's where all the money's gone. We could have gone towards the top quality mics and an actual editor, but we chose a harbourfront view instead.
And it's
Yeah,
so
it really
worth
helps. It really
I hope-
helps to help us de-stress after working. God, I don't know how many minutes, like just tens of minutes on this podcast. So we had to do it.
So, James, before we get into Planet of the Ood specifically, let's go through the questions that we have a proud tradition of asking all of our guests on this show. What is your exposure to Doctor Who? What's your involvement with the franchise like?
I was sort of in that early to mid 2010s Doctor Who renaissance of a lot of people getting into it. I got into it. I watched all of Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant's stuff, I think the week that Matt Smith dropped, just to catch up, and I was like, wow, what a good show. And then I sort of waned very slowly from there until I think I officially dropped off after the first 3 or so episodes of Peter Capaldi, and then I jumped back in at the end of his run and watched a lot of the late game Peter Capaldi stuff, which was really good.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and what do we got at the moment? And they said nothing good. And I went, okay. And it is, I haven't really touched it. I saw who was the newest one?
Ncuti Gatwa?
Yeah, Ncuti Gatwa. I saw the start of his stuff. It was really, really good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was weird they had a musical episode, but all power to him. And then I was like, man, I can't wait for him to finish his run in a couple years, and then I can do the same thing I did with Peter Capaldi and watch it all. And then he was like, anyway, by the way, I'm leaving. And I was like, huh? You just got here.
So, based on everything you've seen, we'll go through the rundown. Favorite, least favorite episode, favorite, least favorite Doctor, favorite, least favorite companion. What'll it be?
That's a toughie. I feel like favorite. I don't know. I want to say, I think purely out of nostalgia, I really like a lot of the stuff. I don't know if I can pin it down to an episode, but I think a lot of the stuff with the silence is really underrated.
Okay.
You always hear good stuff about. I think Doctor Who is at its strength when it's like doing the X-Files soft horror thing, where it like starts off being like an actual horror thing, and then sort of slowly, by explaining itself, works its way back into sci-fi. And there's a lot of really good episodes of that in David Tennant's run, but I think it was really underappreciated in Matt Smith's run. I think he did a lot of good work. Least favorite. What was that one at the very top of what's his name? Peter Capaldi's run. It was like the second or third episode. They went to Egypt.
Ooh, Egypt.
Something about that.
Is that the mummies?
Yeah, the mummies.
Yeah.
On the train or
No, not the train.
No, it's the they're not actually mummies, but like they're in the pyramids. It's the
yeah.
one. It's the one. It's during
He's
Bill's
blind, right?
season. Yeah, it's the one where they like gaslight the whole world into thinking they've been there the whole time. And
Yeah. I would say that's the least favorite episode because that was the one that stopped me watching Peter Capaldi exclusively on the sin that it just was kind of nothing, I think there's like a bell curve of auspiciously bad is fun to watch with a lot of that like classic Who stuff where you're like, this fucking sucks and that rules. And then it's sort of
Oh, it's not. Yeah, that's kind of accurate.
yeah. At the other end of the scale, you're like, wow, this is genuinely really, really good. And sort of in the middle, there's this like zone that just leaves you with no impression, but it
Yeah.
sort of makes you go, I don't really like this has not enriched my day at all, you know? And I think that was the problem with sort of
It's
the
too
start of
competent for its own good.
yeah, and I think that's the problem that plagues a lot of the like Disney stuff is it's like it's just nothing, you know? There's no even if it was bad, that would be something to say about it. But it's not bad. It's fine. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just I think that episode at the start of Peter Capaldi's run was really the thing where I was like, "Oh no, they lost it. They lost that magic, you know?"
Hmm.
Favorite Doctor, late stage Peter Capaldi. Playing a guitar, wearing sunglasses. What a fucking cool guy. Worst Doctor. Uh, look, hot take. Christopher Eccleston.
Whoa.
Wow,
Hot take.
that is a hot take.
I'll stand
Oof.
by it. I don't
Yeah,
have. I don't have a lot of the nostalgia for Christopher Eccleston, to be honest. And a lot of people who seem to like him, I think a lot of it is really hard carried on it. And I think, you know, there's a lot of easy weaknesses to prey on with Matt Smith, because of what he brought to the character, but also I think that he, more or less, just due to the fact that he had more time in the role, he got to sort of
Sure.
explore a bigger range of whatever he
Yeah.
was doing there.
Yeah, makes sense.
That I think Christopher Eccleston was good, but I think the onus of establishing the Doctor as a new character didn't really give him. He was too busy building something. He didn't have enough time to explore in that space, and I think the bad part of that is he kind of just comes off as way shallower than a lot of the people who have done it since in New
Okay.
Who.
Yeah, I guess I can see that.
Interesting thought. Look, gotta give you kudos for
Mhm.
giving a hot take. I thought for a second there you were leading us on a little bit, and you were going to say, "Oh, hot take. I think that Colin Baker is not very good."
Look, honestly, a lot of my experience with Classic Who has sort of melded together into the same
Sure.
sort of experience. Where I'm like, I don't know, it's all got the same flavor to me. I would struggle to distinguish between a lot of them just because I haven't sat down and put conscious effort into being like, all right, and this is this run.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you got to watch like 50 or so to really like distinguish the classic Who eras. Like people like me and Fizz could probably do it easily, but if you don't have that kind of exposure to it, it's going to be a bit more difficult. I assume an obvious exception to that would be the black and white era versus the color era.
Yeah, you can tell it easy because it doesn't have colors.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't give away the secret. We're
Oh,
meant to
sorry.
be we're meant to be championing the show.
That's
Don't
true.
let
That's
the
true, yeah.
audience in on it. No, that's a good point. And to be fair, even with the black and white eras, they're similar enough where it's like you watch and it's like, oh yeah, this is weird timey-wimey in a box with crazy old man show. That's right. You know, maybe that's one of the reasons why I like the classic era, because don't get me wrong, I definitely think that there are differences. Certainly, for your long-term fan, you know, it becomes more noticeable. But yeah, like one of the reasons I enjoy it is because, given that it ran for 26 basically consecutive years, it feels pretty, for want of a better term, uniform in its style, I guess. It's like, oh my god, yeah, this is essentially the same cool, weird show that I've enjoyed, you know?
And I think that's because it was sort of built in an era where they could just work to a serialized formula. They didn't really have the onus like they did currently to sort of break the mold every episode to get people to come back, you know?
Yeah. I mean, they obviously did have, you know, quite innovative stories, I think, certainly thematically, but yes, I think you're right. Because of the nature of it, the serialized nature of it, the fact that it was a, you know, a British, you know, BBC TV show that was played around tea time, you know, most nights of the week, that demands a certain structure. and it is
Yeah.
difficult to work outside of that structure.
Yeah, it's not like they couldn't innovate. It's just that they didn't have to. Because what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Not watch Doctor
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah,
exactly.
because like what it didn't have that much in the way of like contemporaries that it had to actively compete with for viewership.
Yeah, it was pretty unique. I think I've even said in terms of the, I guess, sort of the boldness in terms of the wacky concepts that it's using. The only other show at the time that I can think of that was like that, maybe The Twilight Zone. I mean, I know that there are other British sci-fi shows like Blake Seven and The Tomorrow People and stuff like that, but certainly for the UK, Doctor Who was pretty. It was kind of an anomaly for a lot of reasons. So they could afford to sort of, I guess, rest on their laurels and realize, oh, this is our formula, it works. And sure, the cliffhangers suck like 70% of the time, but it doesn't matter because the audience is going to come back for it every week anyway.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
the clip. That was the one thing I noticed watching Old Who for this. I was like, yo, we really got to hit that cliffhanger, huh, guys?
Look, some cliffhangers with some stories are pretty good. They have a sustained resolution. The tension doesn't fizzle out in a second. But yes, there are
Every
a lot of
30
cliffhangers.
minutes, the worst thing imaginable must happen, which will then be resolved within 60
30
seconds.
seconds.
Yeah.
60 seconds, if that.
And we'll get to that in the next episode of this. What about companions, James? Favorite, least favorite?
Yeah, any fave,
Uh,
least fave?
Donna Noble, the goat of all time.
Of course.
Yeah,
Planet of
she's
the
pretty
Ode,
great.
such a great episode and such a great demonstration of everything I love about Donna. What a good character, honestly. I don't know why we ever changed, frankly. I think they were onto a good thing. They should have just stuck the Doctor with like a vaguely frumpy middle-aged English woman every time because it is such a good like thing to contrast the Doctor against, you know. I think there's only so many doe-eyed, like naive people you can stick the Doctor with. I think we're run out of that. I think we need more people who are like, hey man, I get that you're like an ancient being beyond all time and power, but also I grew up in Leeds, so I know a thing or two, alright? Give me
Hey,
some
it's Chiswick, isn't it?
Chiswick, sorry,
Yeah,
yes.
same diff.
Yeah, but I think
Same
that
diff.
yeah, that rules so much. I'm gonna go look. I think on that note, having a least favorite companion is sort of the opposite of that, and it's difficult for me. Again, hot take alert. I think I can just sort of pick between. I don't think Rose is my least favorite because I don't think she is the most egregious case. But a
Sure.
lot of the New Who, I think I like Clara. A bit of me does like Clara, so I don't want to go Clara. Can I just go Amy Pond?
You can go any con.
Oof.
I think I gotta lock Amy Pond in because she's kind of just like I don't know. To me, Amy Pond is kind of like a diet Rose, where I'm like, okay, well, we did that already.
Sure.
We're kind of
No, I
we're,
completely
we're
agree.
treading the same. Like
I mean,
nothing.
she's even got her own neglected boyfriend.
I like Rory. Here's the difference. I
like
love
Rory.
Rory. I think Rory fucking rocks. So many good Rory moments of him being like, I don't give a shit who she loves. I gotta do it. The fucking when he becomes a little Roman soldier, he stays there for a million years. Oh, what a great character.
Yeah.
I think honestly, Rory underspoken companion. I think that season would have been infinitely better if Rory was the companion instead of Amy. What a
Well,
great
it's the opposite, where he's like, "No, doctor, I need to get home for my wedding," and the doctor's like, "No, we're going on adventures, Rory."
Give me that. Let me fix it. I could have fixed so much of that Matt Smith run. Give me Emmy Pond gets taken by a separate Time Lord, and then Rory and the Doctor have to team up to chase it down. That would have been infinitely better because I think that's bringing something new to the dynamic. You know, I think
I love you. I
yeah.
love you taking the Super Mario Brothers approach to long form Doctor Who writing.
Honestly, I think it'd be funny. I think it'd be funny as fuck. And also, I just like the idea of every time Rory and Matt Smith clashed. Oh, so good. What a delightful dynamic. I wish we got more of it. The chin and the nose truly could have been a generational duo, but they just didn't recognize it.
And before we jump into a more in-depth analysis of Planet of the Ood, what is it that made you pick this episode as the first one to come on for?
I fuck with the Ood so heavy. I think conceptually, the Ood are such a good species and such an interesting aspect, and you can tell they knew it because they keep fucking bringing the Ood back. We had a little bit of Ood. Remember when the Ood was there for the Satan episode, and everyone was like, "Ooh, Satan!" I was like, "Let's get back to this Ood guy. What's his deal?"
Mm.
And then
I
they
like
brought it
that
back again.
so much of this episode is just taking the Satan episode and going, yeah, that was really good, but man, it's weird the Doctor didn't comment on the slave race, right? Let's just retcon that a bit.
Yeah,
Let's go back.
let's run back on the slave race, please. Yeah, and then at the end of this season, we have the Ood at the very end when the Doctor's like having a moment, and the Ood's like, "What up?" And Doctor's
The end
like,
of
"Oh
Planet
fuck,
Earth, yeah.
it's an Ood again. I remember you." And the Ood's like, "What up? We're actually more powerful and knowledgeable than you're aware of." And the Doctor's like, "That's cool." The
Well,
Doctor pulls up in.
there's such a strength, sorry, in the prosthetic that they chose for the Ood.
Yeah.
It's so like visceral and like unique that it functions as really decent iconography for the revived era of the show. Like in terms of new species that the revival era introduced that became a part of the overall zeitgeist of the show. It's the Weeping Angels, and then I would put the Silence and the Ood as a close second each for how like
Yeah.
permeable they are throughout a lot of the advertising and stuff.
Yeah, again, incredibly strong design, incredibly good. I think it's got so much range, and I think you see it in this episode where the Ood go from being like, "Ooh, what a creepy, gross little guy," to being quite cute and sympathetic. I'm like, wow, because they got those really emotive eyes for a prosthetic, and I think that
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
so much through. And I think it's really, really good. I love the silence. I think the silence is so like really good iconography for the Matt Smith era. I think the Ood,
Yeah.
to me, is the definitive David
Yeah.
Tennant Doctor Who creature.
Yeah, I would agree with that actually.
Yeah, that's
If you're
pretty fair.
disregarding classic era stuff, obviously, like
Yeah.
that new shit that they
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's pretty fair.
Like they have similar broad like shape language to their designs, but their vibes are both very distinctly this is an RTD1 and this is a Moffat era creature.
Oh yeah.
So let's get into Planet of the Ood. Yeah, because like having this episode be a companion piece to Satan Pit, it does a lot. Because in that we get a lot of they sort of speedrun a lot of the stuff that we learn about the Ood in the first one just to flip it on its head and go, nah, that was a lie, that was propaganda. Here's what's actually going on. Because they parrot back the whole, oh, you know, they're a servant race. The Ood ask to be told what to do. They have no purpose otherwise. And it's stuff that like you question a little bit in Impossible Planet, but there's a giant Satan running around, so that's what you're mainly focusing on. So you don't really have time to think about the ramifications.
No, you don't get it. The house elves like being in chattel slavery. They're happier that way.
Fuck you, Hermione. Don't free them.
Are you gonna deny them their happiness?
To be fair, I would have questioned that a lot less in Harry Potter if Satan was also there. Harry Potter was
It's true,
fighting
yeah.
the devil from the Bible.
Well, see, the trick there is that in Harry Potter, Satan was the person holding the pen and
Holding the
writing the
pen,
book.
I was gonna say.
True. I think we should all
I
kill J.K. Rowling.
cannot wait to see the House Elf plight on an HBO Max scale. I wonder how they're going to pull that off. That's going to be not at all bad.
Uncomfortable.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but then we get this episode as a companion piece, and it's all about the Ood. There's no devil running around possessing them. We get some similar stuff, like the Red Eye comes back, and we now learn that Red Eye is a symptom of psychic subjugation with the Ood in general, whether it be from the devil or from their own kind. And yeah, I mean, just fleshing out more of this aspect of the world. We even hear this era referred to as the Second Great and Bountiful Human Empire, calling back to Series 1. There's a lot of stuff this episode does that is really, really good world building for a lot of stuff that we've dealt with in the last 3 seasons. Little things like that the show doesn't always do, where it's like just minor little callbacks that make everything feel slightly more like well woven together. It's a nice touch, and there's a lot of that in this.
Yeah.
Superfluous as it may be.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
I
a lot of
mean,
that.
you say that, but that world building, especially in a story like this, is so important because we need to see the horrible systems really that are oppressing, obviously the Yude, but they've also got like even the investors and all the other people. They're all trapped in this one horrible imperial system, and so I think the references to past episodes and more importantly the building on them, it's not just window dressing. I think it's actually quite important because the world building is so important to the story itself.
I mean, one of the details in this episode that always like stands out to me as like really subtle, dark messaging is the bit where they're like, "Look, we've got alternate voices. We've got
Yep.
the normal one. We've got the
Oh,
silly Homer Simpson one, and then we
And
have
we got the
the
sexy lady one.
one." And I'm
Dude,
like, instantly, I'm like, "Oh, people sexually assault their oods all the time.
mm,
I wrote a
Like,
note on
Yeah,
how
it
in the
wow.
once.
hell that doesn't
Ooh.
happen?"
Yeah,
Because
I
like,
did.
one, you look at the history of slavery in general,
yeah.
And
and just how
that
prevalent
happens.
that is. And then you have like and here we're adding a signifier to this ood to make it feminine and submissive and sexy. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
I do. I did put a note to that because she still does refer to that ood as like a he. And I'm like, that's crazy that they just sort of put the.
Yeah.
They're like, it's actually super cool to assault this ood, dude. You can fuck the shit out of this ood. Don't listen to him. It's fine.
It's
Jesus.
also like completely in like fitting with capitalism.
Oh yeah,
The-
for sure.
it's like there's
For sure.
everything in human history falls under three umbrellas. Can I eat it? Can I fuck it? Can I do both? We haven't seen anyone eat nude, but we sure as hell have some evidence that they might get fucked.
People are fucking oods, dude.
And that, like that, along with the implication that The Simpsons is still relevant 2,000 years later, that incredibly believable. I
Yeah.
I want to get the episode where it's like 5,000 years in the future, and Hank Azaria, Harry Shearer, Dan Castellaneta, all those voice actors are on life support, and they're like they're being
No, they're
kept
just
alive.
Futurama heads in jars.
Futurama heads in jars,
Yeah.
just churning out lines. Put you
Or
back to sleep
holograms or
again.
something.
Yeah.
And people go, look, their heads in jars, like the other show, Futurama. And everyone goes, wow, great reference. And they're like, kill me.
Good
It's
lord.
I touched on this a couple of weeks ago, but it's quite a journey Donna's having so far. Where her first outing in the TARDIS, she has to deal with a mass death of like a big historical event where there's a bunch of people die, nothing you can do about it, just a big natural disaster. And then her second go is slavery. It's not a thing that you often think about when you think of Donna. You'd mainly think about like the sass and all that stuff. But she has some dark episodes and out the gate as well.
Yeah.
Like there's no grace period. There's no dip your toe in the water with, oh, look at all
Yeah.
these funny aliens on board this spaceship, or oh, it's William Shakespeare. It's like, no, this is the horrors of the universe, Donna. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Hello,
Well, she even
Donna Noble.
comments on it. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, she comments on it when she says near the end, it's like, oh, I thought traveling with you, Doctor, would be, sort of exploring the wonders of the universe, but it is in fact actually pretty terrible. I mean, I'm paraphrasing there, but that's basically what she says. And that's true. It's kind of admirable that for this season specifically, RTD sort of went that route because there's no absorbable off episode here, right? There's no funny ha ha ha. We've got that actor running around in a goofy costume. That's so weird, everybody. No, this is pretty full on, and that would remain fairly consistent. I mean, I don't know if there's like the tone, I think, and the levels of darkness they're exploring obviously vary, but and certainly something like I think the Unicorn and the Wasp isn't as shocking or horrifying even thematically as this story
Yeah, I
is,
was going to
but
say that's probably the closest to that kind of tone this season has.
yeah.
Yeah.
but for the most part, pretty consistently dark. Because even like the library episodes, even apart from the terrifying concept and design of the Vashta Narada, still pretty full on when you think about it. And then you've got Doctor's daughter. I don't remember too much about, but I remember there being a bit of darkness there. And then you got the ending with the universe almost ending.
Mhm.
It's yeah, like Donna's taken for a ride, and it's a bumpy one.
Well, it's
Let's
also
put it
pretty
that way.
fitting as well with this episode because, like, there's not a lot that Donna actually does to like drive the plot forward in this one. That's not really her role. Her role in
Mm.
this is mainly to just react to everything that's happening.
Well,
And
it's
she
Yeah,
does
like I
it
it's that
said,
very
eyes of the
well.
companion thing.
Yeah,
yeah, it's the thing I said a couple episodes back. Is that everyone remembers Donna being sassy because
Yeah.
you get quotable, memeable moments from it.
Mm.
But I think her defining character trait is her empathy,
yeah.
which is
Absolutely.
particularly strong in this and Fires of Pompeii so far.
Yeah, even then, she gets so much agency that I feel like you don't get from a
Yeah.
lot of those like more doe-eyed companions. Straight off the
Yeah.
bat, she like gets in there. She's like that fucking dying ood right at the start. She's like, "Yo, let me grab your ball for a second. I'm getting in there. I'm I'm doing things," which I think rules because even though she doesn't necessarily have an active handle on the plot, I don't think that restricts her agency as a character.
No, not
Yeah,
at all.
Really taken the first step a lot of the time, which I think is
Yeah,
that's why I love Donna. She just is so
this
assertive.
this isn't a Chibnall era companion where the companions are just planks of wood who walk around parroting everything the Doctor says. Like, no, there's
Oh.
there's an actual character on display here.
Can you imagine? Oh wow, Doc. Yeah, I guess if you didn't care about the last time, I guess they're not that important to care about this time. Oh well, you know. But
Well, like there's the bit where she's like, "Fucking slavery in the future? I thought we were past that."
Yeah.
And Doctor's like, well, actually," she's like, "Fuck off, fuck you."
Who
Although,
made
you
your
You
know,
know it's not the same thing.
I mean,
riddle me this, Donna?
where did your clothes
And
come
then
from,
he's
ma'am?
and then he's kind of just like, actually, okay, yeah, no, fair enough. I'm sorry.
But well, that sort of commentary about the I guess you'd perhaps call it worker exploitation, even in the modern era. I think that's
Yeah.
still kind of
Well,
important.
I mean, it's
Um,
like for us contemporarily, it's more the idea of there's no ethical consumption under capitalism.
yeah.
Like, even
Yeah.
if we do not want to engage with these systems that, exploit workers and violate human rights and stuff, we don't have a choice because the alternative is to not have food and clothing and shelter. So, like,
Yeah, don't you like
what are
Amazon,
what are
Sam?
we supposed to do? Yeah.
But yeah, so I think in terms of Donna, like you folks say that she doesn't have a lot of driving force in the plot, and that is kind of true. But I like to believe that her commentary on the situation it sort of helps wake the Doctor up to the true horrors of the slavery at hand. And don't get me wrong, it would be pretty likely, in fact almost certain, that the Doctor would still come to those conclusions without a companion, but I think in terms of character growth and theme, certainly, it's just very helpful to have that companion reminding the Doctor that, he might enjoy doing wacky space and time travels, but the fact is this is the reality in a lot of situations, and he needs to do something. So yeah, I think at the very least, Donna is doing that. And as I said earlier, the Eyes of the Companion thing, it's a very important role, and it's used to pretty good effect here.
Well, it's also interesting you say that because thinking back on it, this also isn't really an episode where the Doctor has a lot of active involvement in the plot. a lot of the big moves that happen
Mm.
are done by external characters like Ood Sigma
Mm.
and like the Doctor character, not the Doctor, but Dr. Ryder or
Yeah.
whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Like you could arguably say that if the Doctor and Donna hadn't shown up, events probably would have happened a little similarly. Like there may have been some deviation here and there, but it's largely the Doctor's largely there to explain things to the audience,
Yeah.
to give big
He's just sort of
reactions.
figuring things out as they happen.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah,
I
And
think
it's go ahead. Go ahead, James.
I think that is really, really good when they
Yeah.
do that in a Doctor Who episode. I still think one of the best episodes is that one where they have that like neighborhood watch crew, and the Doctor just doesn't appear until the end of it, because that's really like what a fun that fucking woman gets turned into a block of concrete and sucks off a guy. What a great
Oh, okay.
episode! We all know the
Good.
one I'm talking
A
about.
fellow Love and Monsters defender.
Oh no. Oh
Yeah,
dear.
I think it rocks. Frankly, I think that shit is so good. Doctor Who being like, yeah, and then they fuck the concrete. What a great fucking bit. But yeah, I really enjoy that X-Filesy sort of a thing where the characters are there, but they don't need to. They're sort of an audience surrogate into a unique situation, which I think is
Well,
so good in Doctor Who.
I think it's also handy in an episode like this where you don't have the Doctor come in and be like, "Oh, look at all you slaves! I'm going to free you. I'm your
White
hero
savior,
now." Yeah,
white
pretty
savior
much.
Doctor
Yeah,
Who.
it's largely the Ood take matters into their own hands, pretty much, and it's like great. That should be how it goes.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, that element of having the Doctor even being a bit more stand back in terms of their role, there are definitely, bad or very ineffective ways to do it, and that's not what this
Yeah.
is either. This is not like Revelation of the Daleks, where we both, Kelf and I both said, if you took certainly a Doctor out of the equation, the plot would basically be the same. And even the stuff that he's more involved in is actually kind of uncomfortable and not particularly helpful. So, yeah. But yeah, this is
fun
where it's used.
He gets to close the cage door on himself and scream, "You're gonna lock me up?" Well, too late. Like you got fun moments like that.
And he got to run away from the claw. That was such a goofy little bit.
Fucking
I
hell,
love the
Jesus
claw.
Christ.
The claw
You've got-
guy. The
You-
claw
I know.
guy was so
He's
horny
just
for the
so
claw.
yeah, he's so cartoonishly evil.
You've got Ood operations in this episode. Like they're mostly pretty well like realized characters and villains. You've got like the CEO guy. He's got like some depth to him. Solana has a few moments, and then you've got this fucking Dudley Do-Right 2D animated maniac who's just giggling to himself that he finally gets to use his fucking crane. It stands out so much. It doesn't fit in with anything else.
Well, here's the thing. Sorry, go ahead, James.
In the scene immediately prior, the Ood walking out, and he has a fucking whip just in case anyone watching at home forgot what we're alluding to.
Yeah.
This guy is insane.
He's also fucking holding a gun, and then he decides, no, I've got a clear shot of this guy. But I'm gonna use my claw instead.
He's horny for the claw, dude.
It's that classic. It's that classic thing.
That classic thing of being horny for the claw. We all feel
that
sci-fi trope.
But it's that thing where it's like, I could kill you easily, but no, you're gonna suffer because I'm arrogant and I hate you for annoying me and making me do my job.
God, I just want to get back to whipping.
And then, but like the inverse of that is that everyone else that Ood kill, they're just like, yeah, look, ball, zap, done, on to the next one, yada yada yada. Him, they're like, no, disarm you, grab you, put you in the cage, then turn on the gas that you were going to use to gas us.
Which rules,
see, that's how you effectively do it.
This man has like a radius. He's got like a cartoon AoE surrounding him at all times, which takes the gravitas of the episode and just sort of rockets it to this 11.
Just like, no, pragmatism is not warranted here. This is the one guy we're going to be petty about.
Well, he's also the one that was actively whipping them, so I guess it makes sense.
That's true.
Like, it's completely justified.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, and actually that reminds me of something with the claw scene. maybe I'm wrong, and perhaps I'm misinterpreting this. Beyond a funny little goofy bit, does that have much relevance to the plot? Because the only relevance I could think of is it's that whole chase sequence sort of gives you time to focus their psychic abilities, but I'm not sure how much relevance it's got
I
to
don't
it.
think it's really that
It
important. I
doesn't-
think it's just
no.
we need something action to happen more in like the first half of the episode,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
that
We need to show
it, like,
how horny
breaks
this
up
guy is
the-
for the claw.
For the
Yeah.
claw.
He loves the claw. He loves his
He wants
He's a
claw.
fun action
want-
set piece in the halfway point of the episode.
Yeah, he wants that claw job.
love me claw, hey Ood, simple as.
Simple as, bruh.
Simple as.
Yeah, he rules. Also, speaking of around this point in the episode, maybe I've just forgotten it because it has been many years since I've watched a lot of Doctor Who. The Doctor just kind of gets psychic powers. He does the Goku thing where they've just been like, "Oh yeah, the Doctor can do psychic things." And
No,
then,
that's pretty consistent.
yeah, how
Yeah,
much is the
yeah.
Doctor blasting people?
It's mainly in like the RTD era where he gets like a low level psychic thing where he can like project.
Yeah,
stuff
I feel like
Yeah,
the revival made more of a point of being like, nah, he's got psychic stuff
yeah.
going on all the time.
He does it in the first episode where he lets Rose feel the rotation of the Earth. He does it in The Girl in the Fireplace, most significantly, where he enters the mind of the Duchess. And in the classic series, it's established that Time Lords can have a psychic communication with each other. So yeah, that's not.
I know what you mean. Like, it's always an element of the character that catches me off guard when it comes up, because it's not like the Doctor's running around like Professor Xing people every episode. It comes up like every now and then, and it's sparse enough that when it happens, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Enough to be surprising.
It's to
Much
the extent that he is like mildly telepathic only towards other things that have psychic abilities.
When
Which
Donna,
is like-
of course, is psychic inherently. Growing up in Chisholm, you get a psychic power. I think it rules. I only mention it just because I've been thinking. I talked to someone the other day about how Goku does the exact same thing. Goku of Dragon Ball fame.
Yeah.
Every about 5-10 years, Goku remembers that he has the ability to tap someone on the shoulder and then just learn everything about the current situation because they don't want to have a scene where they sit there for 20 minutes being like, all right. So me and this guy yelled at each other for 20 minutes.
I think it's very fair to say that to an extent, Doctor Who has experienced anime power creep.
It's true. Honestly, it's so true. And that's why I think
much like most anime, it's to its detriment.
I think the next companion needs to be Goku. I think that's the answer here. That's how we solve this issue.
Well, we'll see whenever that happens.
The Doctor and Goku. You heard it here first,
The
folks.
TARDIS
Exclusive.
lands on planet Vegeta before Frieza blew it up. And he finds a
there.
young Saiyan companion.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, the destruction of this planet is a fixed point in time. I can't interfere.
Well, yeah, because if he doesn't interfere, then fucking Goku's dad isn't going to time travel and become the first Super Saiyan, and Goku and Vegeta aren't going to put their differences aside and fight Frieza, and then Cell's going to be defeated, and if not, then he would have destroyed the world.
It's just Waters of Mars, but on planet Vegeta.
Yeah.
Finally, anime power creep has hit the BBC original series.
Oh god. Talking about the rest of Ood operations, you've got the PR spin doctor Solana. And there's something really notable about her role in the episode is that, like, for the first 20-25 minutes, you can see what the arc should be for her character. She's the one who's she witnesses the wrongdoings of the company, and then halfway through she tags along with the Doctor and helps in the end. And there's even a moment when
he basically just puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "Are you going to be pro-slavery or not?" And she says, "Yes." Yes, I am.
It's the
You want to be on the wrong side of history, ma'am?
Yeah,
'Cause that's where you're heading.
She chooses her career over morals, and she is killed for it. And I think a character like that, like the one who halfway through the doctor's like, "Come with me, help me figure this out." There's like, if they don't, if they say yes, they either get a happy ending or they get the sacrifice play at the end of the story, where they get to be the one that saves the day by sacrificing themselves. And I think it's interesting that this character, because she's given the choice and turns it down, she basically gets just any other death. Like, it's not, there's the camera focuses on it obviously, but there's no real like,
there's nothing particularly unique. There's no dignity. There's no. It's just okay. You treated the dude like numbers that are disposable. Well, guess what? So are you.
Yeah.
There's
completely.
something, and it is quite clever, really, that she's presented with this, that critical choice. And as you say, in many other Doctor episodes, we'd be expecting her to join forces with the Doctor, but it's thematically consistent, but I also kind of admire the thematic courage that's involved there, because it shows that, in a way, even though she's obviously part of the oppressor class, I guess you would say,
The bourgeois,
like everybody. Well, yeah. I mean, I know that's almost you say that almost like a joke, but yeah, certainly a bourgeois codified character. But it presents that in these horrible systems, capitalism particularly, it shows that everybody in a way is a victim. This is the price that everybody has to pay for this horrible system that exploits everybody.
Because like in like the top down, like capitalistic corruption, like no one can have a conscience and get to that higher level if you're like at the main center of Ood operations, unless of course you're infiltrating as part of Friends of the Ood.
That guy rules.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I think they were just punishing a young hustler who wouldn't give up the grind set, to be honest, and I don't see why that's. Honestly, I think she was on that grind. She had a CEO mindset, and she's being punished for it.
What's that song? A diva is a female version of a hustler.
Exactly.
That's what she was.
It's true. She was one of the all-time hustlers, and she said, "Hey, even when it's the morally correct choice with very little drawback, and I'm sort of free to make this
she's
choice,
got to stay on that grind.
Nothing comes above the grind set, baby. I wake up, I'm on that hustle." And she died for the hustle, which I think is the most pro-hustler move of them all. Incredible scene, by the way. Maybe the best part of the episode. I want to say it. The greatest character in the entire episode comes shortly after, when everything goes to shit and then the floor is set on fire for no discernible reason other than to signify we're in the action scene. Ood with gun. Ood with gun. Ood with gun, my favorite character. I'm going to drop an image real quick, which I know is very bad for podcasting. But
yeah, that's right. I'll pop it in the video version.
I think it's culturally significant enough.
Or I'll just make it I'll make it the thumbnail and the image for it this episode.
I love the Ood with gun. This is maybe my favorite. I've got two images here. This is how culturally significant Ood with gun is. I have two separate Ood with gun images. This guy fucking rocks. They are having like a fit, and he's just holding the gun and just sort of turning around. And I'm like, this guy, what's this guy's story? I want him returning in a later Doctor Who episode, being like, yeah, I'm Ood with gun.
Yeah.
Basically, I held the gun the wrong way around.
You get to End of Time, and you have Ood Sigma, you have the Brian Cox leader Ood, and then you have Ood with gun. That's Ood the trifecta. Gun.
The greatest character in Doctor Who. A character where I, as you can see, had to pause the episode and be like, who's this guy? I want to hear his story. I want to hear Ood with gun. No other Ood has like picked up anything, has shown any sort of... They're either like... He doesn't even have his ball out. He's not killing people. He does not have like ball and... He's not dual wielding ball and gun. This is Ood with gun.
He's just realized that ball is too inefficient.
He's like,
you can only kill one person at a time. It has to be close range. But gun, Gun can kill many slavers.
He's not.
Also-
He's not sitting there with his ball in his hand. He's taken action.
Also, as you can see, deeply conflicted character because the CEO is about 5 meters away from him, and he does not have the gun tray. I want to know what is the lore of this Ood who is like, I need a weapon that's more efficient at killing, and yet I will not use it to kill the slaver.
Well, you
What a-
can see he's not quite holding it properly.
Metal Gear.
It's
A
almost
weapon
like
just-
he's holding it like a club almost. I wonder, is there something there? I don't know.
He looks
There's
like
so many
he's look-
mysteries
he-
about
He
Gun
looks
Ood.
like he looks like he is 5 frames after having come out of the cutscene that says you have acquired a gun.
You are playing as the Ood.
Yeah, like he's it's like that the split second between the cutscene and gameplay when the transition happens. He's in that transition at the moment, and he's
don't-
just a moment too late to hit the CEO in his bald head.
I wish I clipped the video because the Ood is just like turning left and right for about 5 seconds straight. An incredible moment where I was like, "This Ood rocks." Ball still clipped it. We've surpassed the need for Ball. We have unlocked the gun, a weapon to surpass Ball.
I have to kill fast and ball too slow.
Now, once I figure out how to use this assault rifle, it's over for all of you. Truly the greatest character in fiction. We love you, Gun Ood. Gun Ood forever and ever in my heart.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's the most important part of the episode.
Sure. Now let's get to the main villain.
Yes.
So I think I may be wrong,
mhm.
but I think that this might be a first for the show.
Sure.
Is Tim McInerney the first actor in a Doctor Who episode where one of us has played one of their iconic characters on stage?
Ooh, interesting. Which would that
Because
be?
I have played Captain Darling from Blackadder Goes Forth, who was originally played by Tim
Ah.
McInerney
Mhm.
in a theatre production. Have there been any other actors? And-
Both
Um,
myself
I
and
will-
Bits
I
have
will-
both played Basil Fawlty, and John Cleese has like a minute-long appearance in the classic era.
Oh yeah, he
Okay.
does. He's in.
Have
He's
you
in,
reviewed that episode though? Is
Not
more
yet,
what I
not
was
yet.
thinking. Right.
So this is a first.
Yeah.
I, of course, wake up and embody the role of Ood with Gun every day.
Of course
It's
you
a
do.
morning ritual of mine. I get into Ood with Gun headspace.
That's the grind set that you're on.
It's
Yeah.
true. I look in the mirror,
Yeah.
I do my affirmations. You are an Ood, you have a gun. The world is your
But
oyster.
you're
The world is
you're
your
not
orb.
performing that character on a stage. You are becoming the man.
Yeah, I am
himself.
becoming the Ood.
Well, in that
In
way,
much
you
the
are.
sa-
He
in
is
much
like
the same
Tim
way-
McInerney.
Yeah, in much the same way that CEO become Ood.
Oh,
Yeah.
that rules. I think it rocks that the twist. I've seen this episode so many times, I completely forget every time. I'm like a toddler with bad object permanence. I forget that they spike him with Ood HRT, and I'm like, yo!
It's
We
so
get-
extra because like this is the man that is responsible.
This isn't
for-
hair tonic. It's oodestrogen.
Oodestrogen.
Oh, that's great. That is
We love
great.
But this is the man
Oodestrogen.
that is responsible for all of the Ood trafficking, and rather than put a ball to his head or a bullet in his head, they decide
They make a
transform
brain
him
come out of his head.
They make a brain come
Hmm.
out of his head. Let's transform him into Ood. We will now look after him.
I think that rules. I think that alludes to how Ood are made in such an interesting way. In that exact moment, I was like, wait, hang on a minute. Is that how they're getting all of these Ood? Are they just like I know they found the Ood on the planet, but are they? Is there a world in which we have the Doctor Who script where they're like, it's okay, they're not real people, and then you find out they're turning people into Ood so that they can subjugate them?
I mean, they allude to breeding factories, so I mean, I don't know how this happened.
Did they mention something about them being grown? I feel like
Well,
that
No,
was
yeah.
part of the.
they definitely
like-
use the word breeding.
Okay.
Because like the idea of Ood breeding in the way that like humans would seems weird because Ood are clearly not gendered in any way.
No, they do. They refer to the Oods. They're referred
Well, because
exclusively
like
as he.
they exclusively refer to them as he, which
But that's
typically
what the
means
oppressors are saying.
which typically means this thing does not have a physiological sex, and we are assuming a male identity as the default.
Doffelli.
Unless
And
they're
I feel
being
like
sexy lady.
if there was enough about Ood biology that there is a male and a female that reproduce and have a baby, then alluding to what we
Well,
were saying
could
earlier,
it be?
female
Yeah.
Ood would be their own category of more expensive
Well,
thing
is it that,
because
or is
either
it
they're
that?
used by companies for breeding purposes
Well,
or
that's
they
what I was
are
going to say.
elite Ood servants
Mm.
Perhaps
for like
it is
the
the.
hypercapitalists.
Well, I was going to say perhaps in this fucked up company, the male Ood are sold as slaves because they are stronger. Wink, wink. And the female Ood are kept at the breeding grounds along with like a handful of male Ood to just churn out baby after baby after baby.
Dude.
Yeah.
Jesus. You know that's a crazy episode when they go to the Ood fucking zone. The doctor's like, this is where the Ood are boning down. It's just like pumping Marvin Gaye through speakers 24/7, you know?
You know what it reminds
So like
me of?
like a chicken farm, you have one
Yeah,
one fowler and a bunch of hens.
exactly. Yeah.
So
Right.
what this
That's
reminds me of is the Mudokons from the Oddworld series.
Oh yes.
So Abe and all the other slave Mudokons are all male because their species has a queen like a beehive would.
I
So
was
there's like
gonna.
one female that gives birth to all of the Mudokons, and just most of them are male.
I was gonna say, is that a situation with the brain Ood? Is that what a
Yeah, like
female Ood
is the
looks like?
brain
But then
Ood queen
they
in that sense?
specifically say that that's the daddy Ood. So maybe this is a beautiful Yowie race where there's only fellas.
Yeah.
It could be.
It's just nothing but beautiful gay Ood sex forever and ever.
Well, they imply a lot about Ood evolution in this, and it's like, a species that's born with their brain in their hand has to be trusting. They can't have any natural predators. But they skip over how a giant brain evolved on its own to unite all of them. Like they skip over that bit. I don't think they need to go into it for this episode, but I think it's
well,
to specifically call attention to how a species like the Ood could have evolved, and then later there is a giant brain.
well, maybe the brain came first.
Maybe.
What came first, the Ood or the brain? But I think
the Ood
maybe it is like a
it
They're kind of
secretes
like a
the Ood graft, the oestrogen rather,
Hmm.
and that's how you get Ood growing out of the ground. Maybe.
Like little funguses. What
Yeah.
if Oods are like mushrooms?
kind of like a more peaceful, benevolent version of mind flayers from D&D.
Oh yeah.
Because they're like
True.
weird tentacle monsters. They have a means of like forcibly turning human hosts into their own species, and they've got giant brains that like oversee their whole society as well.
Honestly, I think you might be onto something there. They are very mind flayer coded.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3, where I can bone down with the Ood so I can finally figure out what's going on there.
You need the Ood mod for Baldur's Gate 3.
The Ood mod for Baldur's Gate. Playable Ood, please.
Mm.
No
Well, we've
weapon.
already got
Actually,
gun mods in Baldur's Gate 3, so you
That's-
could play as Ood with a gun.
you're only allowed to play as Ood with gun or Ood with ball.
Yeah.
Finally. New Call of Duty looks great, by the way, guys.
Um,
Everyone plays as an Ood with ball.
back to the CEO guy. It's a serviceable villain for this episode. He does this whole I'm the CEO, I'm morally corrupt, I'm stressed out about everything I've got to deal with. I'd feel bad if he wasn't pure evil. I do find it interesting that he has that moment, that one moment of humanity towards the end where he allows Ood Sigma to like go and be with his people. It's interesting, and it's not a moment that I expected from him. I would expect it to be the case of like, oh, either you're staying with me, you've got my hair juice, or I can't trust you now that everyone's running feral. I'm going to shoot you in the head, my beloved Ood. This
But
isn't
in
the
a
option I
way,
expected.
it is good that they do that though, because one, it adds a bit more dimension to his character, which isn't entirely necessary for a character like him. Like if he was just kind of this cartoonish, greedy, evil, ooh, I'm going bold, whatever sort of type, that could work. But I think, by doing that, it highlights. How can I put this? It highlights that these slave owners are human, and one that means yes, they can have moments of compassion, but most importantly, it reminds us that just because there may be a few moments of compassion from the slave owner to the slave, that doesn't mean that the system is remotely justified. So I think
I mean, like,
that is what it was trying
look
to
at
say
real
with.
history. There are probably plenty of examples of slave owners who are like, yeah, fuck those guys working the fields, but you, the one who's my personal
Oh
aide,
yeah. Oh
who
no. I
gets to
mean,
live
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
house with
look
me,
at yeah. No,
you're all
that's
right.
certainly true. Look at
I would even think of you as a friend, sort of, that I own, and you can't leave, otherwise I get to
yeah.
kill you.
It's that yeah. I mean that I think it is sort of referencing or alluding to a historical precedent there, by showing the, I guess, slightly complex but still at its core morally horrific nature of such a relationship.
I think it also
I
helps
think
it like
that's
that
what it's
that extra
saying.
little that extra layer of like even to the tiniest degree humanizing this guy. I think it does kind of help because like if you have this guy be the cartoonishly evil one, like it's a bit less personal, and
Yep.
it lets you think. Well, I sure am glad that we don't live in this world.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not like that guy, but
Exactly. Yeah.
the
Alden, yeah.
humanization is an important part of that process for making us realize maybe we are not so different, and maybe there are issues that need to be dealt with, even in our own time. And obviously, there were horrific things that happened in humanity's past. So
Yeah, I do
yeah,
think
I
this
think
was sort of indicative in that a lot of like early 2010s media was sort of doing that thing where they're like, "Hey guys, it's time to be conscious of social issues." Not really offering any kind of. I think that was the one kicker here was when they had the thing being like, "Where are your clothes made from?" And I'm like, "Damn, much to think about, David Tennant." Uh, the problem being is it wasn't very prescriptive in action to take, I think it was really cool, and that's watching this was such like a apart from the fact that the Ood sphere looked like Halo 3 graphics, the Ood zone. uh it was like this was so reminiscent of such a specific era in the early 2010s when there was a really growing global consciousness of like humanitarian issues in a way.
hey,
But
can I be a pretentious shithead for a second?
Oh
yeah.
God,
Sorry.
you a pretentious shithead?
Yeah, I know. I'm so humble. It's tough. Technically, this story came out in the late 2000s. There we
Late
go.
2000s, yeah. I feel like around 2010
Yes,
ish, sort of,
you're
yeah.
no, you're correct. Around that period, late
In the
2000s,
the
early
aura of
2010s.
yeah, post global financial crisis world,
Mm,
where
yep.
a lot of these
No.
things, I think things have gotten better now because I think you see a lot of stories where even when they're addressing like real issues using fictional means, they at least sort of offer a. There was at no point where the doctor was like, "Damn, should have gone to an op shop, Donna." There was no answer to the questions that it posed. But the
Yeah.
fact that it was posing the questions was so like, where you can see the budding growths of these sort of things
I
being
mean, if
addressed.
anything, the answer it posed is violent revolution by the slave caste is good. and should happen.
Yeah, because it results in Ood with gun.
Exactly.
Actually,
Also,
speaking of Ood with gun,
I don't think that was pretentious. I just think it was pedantic.
Who, me?
And
What are you talking about,
and
Sam?
by the way, I am aware of the irony of me pointing that out, so don't bother bringing it up.
Real quick, speaking
Yeah, fair
of
enough.
the CEO and Ood with gun, I just realized we could have an episode with many Oods with gun, because at the very start, when he's like, "Bring me the documents, Sigma
Oh yeah,
Ood," they give him the military document Ood soldiers.
yeah, because it's just like, oh, we always need more fucking meat fodder for the front lines.
He's like,
Yeah.
Maybe that's the next Ood story.
many
Turning the
Ood with
Ood
gun.
into guns, and it's like, oh, sure, they rebelled against us the last time, but that's not going to happen again because we're smarter than them. And
'Cause
then
we've
what
given
happens?
them.
Ood with guns coming
We've
all the
replaced the
way.
translators with guns. Now they can't even talk; they can only shoot.
At the same
Yeah.
time, I think the picture this episode paints of how the Ood are traded in at large, I feel like it's more just like, and now we're just going to send 1,000 unarmed Ood at their defenses, and
I
that
mean,
should eliminate their ammunition,
you'd
and then we
think,
can just roll
however,
in.
they do have balls, so and we've seen what happens when you get balled by an Ood.
Yeah.
We're going to
Don't
send in
ever touch.
1,000 Ood to melt guys with their balls.
Yeah, don't ever touch the balls of the Ood.
Unless you're Donna, she can do it because she's goaded. Donna, much like the
Dear.
Ood, Donna is a Sigma companion, and that means that she can get away with whatever the fuck she wants because she's cool.
Hey, Ood Sigma, Donna Sigma. There's a connection there. Yeah, I'm sure.
There is. Also, I do. Speaking of the ending again, I do deeply love that we got the other Doctor, the scientist, got insane redemption. What an insane rug pull with him being like, actually,
Like, actually, I've been a good guy the whole time.
Mm.
And then
I
Tim,
think that
Tim
rules.
McInerney's like, that's nice.
That's
Over
cool.
the fence you go.
It rules that the brain can eat someone. That's fun.
Mm.
I think it's good
I
that
see it
brains
more
can
like,
eat guys.
well, actual brains are like 90% water, so I just see that like he sort of just drowned in it. Is my read of that scene.
Drowning into brain.
Mm.
I genuinely
Drowning in
thought
the
sauce.
I thought we were gonna get a moment where we were gonna have like the brain be like the Queen Ood and spit out a brand new Ood that was wearing like the lab coat or something, and then he's like, "I'm reborn as an Ood."
Well, like the Slurm factory.
Honestly, yeah, I could see a world in which that happens. That could have been a beautiful world.
Gronka Lonka Dunka Dee Dude.
I will say with the ending, I do find it a bit like, as overwhelmingly competent as this episode is written, I do think it was a bit rushed when it's like, oh, and we turned the Ood brain off, and the song went out, and every single person in the second great and bountiful human empire heard it and decided to send the Ood home. Fucking insane.
Is that
No, that would not
is it
happen.
made clear that is that what happens? I thought it was just either maybe the whole of the Ood sphere or everyone who was in the vicinity of an Ood, which to be fair would have been a lot of people on that planet. But was it made clear that it was everybody in the sector or in the
specifically
empire?
There is a line where
heard
he
by
specifically
everyone.
says it's contained to the Ood sphere.
Is
So
it?
we have a moral duty
Oh,
to
okay.
make sure the infection doesn't spread. So it's not like it's every Ood in the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
Could you imagine you're like sleeping at like 3 a.m. and you hear the Ood song and you're like, holy, is that the suffering of an entire race? It's 3 a.m. Shut up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, insane ending too, in that the Ood were like, yo, thanks, the doctor. By the way, you're dying soon. Just as a heads up. What a crazy thing to do. Hey, dude, thanks for being here for the liberation of our people.
Yeah, here it is. I've got the line I'm referring to. It's when they're at the TARDIS again, and the Doctor says, "The message has gone out. That song resonated across the galaxies. Everyone heard it. Everyone knows. The rockets are bringing them back. The Ood are coming home."
Okay.
And it's like, no,
I mean-
there's no way that there wasn't at least some pushback on that. And they're still on the Ood sphere, so that would have been like the same day, at the very least week. Social change doesn't happen that far, as I think
Also-
we in the 21st century can attest to.
That's a question. There's another question there. How fast does psychic energy travel? Is it the speed of light? Because even if it was, how long would that still take
Yeah.
to get across all the galaxies? That'd take like
I mean,
Centuries.
it's psychic, so
yeah, I guess
it
that's
is
So
true.
not
that means
bound
it's
by
weak
the
to
laws
dark.
of physics.
Hmm.
It is functionally identical to magic. It may as well have happened simultaneously everywhere
suppose
all at
so.
once.
And it's
Well,
weak to ghost type.
Pardon me. But yeah, I think Cuff, you're kind of right. I like obviously there's a hope there with that ending that
Of course.
people will know
Yeah.
and people will be able to do stuff. But yeah, you wonder how quickly is that social change going to happen because
I mean, my read of it is more that the actual practicality of what happened is everyone is now aware that Ood are capable of doing this, and it is more trouble than it's worth to keep them as
Well-
slaves, and that the
well-
Doctor is just saying it in a bit more of a flowery, hopeful way for the episode to have a nice thematic resolution.
Sure.
Well, here's actually an interesting question though. Wouldn't a more, I mean, they wouldn't do it because it's, I suppose it's too dark and it's too complicated for the plot. But wouldn't a more logical eventuality of that plot line be that the circle is broken, the Ood are able to all telepathically communicate with each other all across the galaxies, and there's just a bunch of Ood uprisings all over the galaxies, and a bunch of the bourgeois slave owner class just gets massacred. Wouldn't that?
I mean,
I mean,
that's
And who's
like I said, that's probably a big factor in why the returning of the Ood is apparently so quick and bloodless.
Yeah.
Is that
Well,
everyone
who's-
is like, oh, I'm going to get murdered by my slaves if I don't let them go? Okay, I'll think about it.
I was gonna say, when do we get the new Rose Doctor season? She'll go to see one of these Ood uprisings, and who's there leading the charge for the Oods who don't know how to liberate themselves? But beloved Ood with gun. Give me like a Shea Guvra Ood.
Man, RTD2 has had a lot of needless callbacks, but if we get the Ood with Gun episode, I will apologize to RTD for ever doubting him. He had a plan all the time. He always had a plan. He wanted to do Ood with Gun for the 60th anniversary, but he had to build up to it, as rightly he should have.
60th anniversary. It was actually the original
The Billy Piper Doctor,
was them fighting
at the end of whatever they're doing with her, regenerates into the first Doctor who is like, nah, guns. For I am Dr. Ood with gun.
finally.
Doctor Ood is the new name of the show.
Dr. Ood with gun. Fine, and then the show is fixed, and I'll thank Disney forever. But yeah,
Oh,
ultimately, I think such a solid episode. Frankly, such a if there
Yeah.
was an episode, if someone was like, "I've never watched Doctor Who before. What should I watch to sort of catch a vibe for Doctor Who?" I would probably point them to Planet of the Ood because I feel like you need very little context to get into it, and ultimately, it tells a very competent, self-encapsulated story without feeling limited. You know, I think
I mean,
it's
even
enough.
like the little introduction with Doctor and Donna being like, "It's your first time on an alien planet," is like taken in isolation. Is like, yeah, that's a pretty good explanation for this whole time and space shit.
Yeah.
I think genuinely it is such a
Actually, on the topic of this being a good entry point, it wasn't my entry point, but I remember back when these seasons were first airing, my family just like dropped off in season 3 and didn't keep up with it. And it wasn't until this episode that we were like, we should really like make the effort to start watching Doctor Who as it comes out again. And like, yeah,
again,
It
is such a
just really catches you up on everything you need to know.
such a good functional, like mechanically, in terms of mechanical storytelling, it's really, really competently built, both in and to itself and as a part of. It lets you know. You watch this episode, never having seen Doctor Who before, and you're like, oh, I get it. They go to the
Yep.
place, they meet the guys, things happen. The Doctor
And
is
given how, sorry, go ahead.
the Doctor is there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, given how I guess thematically inconsistent Doctor Who can be, given how long of a history it's got, and by God, we're going to be talking about that a bit with the next story we're reviewing. But but given that, this I think it sticks to the what I think are the core sort of leftist tenets of the show, which, despite what certain people may think, I think it is and always has been part of the show, even if it's stumbled, I think, ethically and thematically every now and then. So yes, James, the point is, I do agree. I think if you were a first-time viewer and you saw this, in terms of almost everything, in terms of the plot, the themes, the characters, the tone and the wackier concepts, again, Mr. I'm horny for the claw.
Yeah.
It's a really good, solid introduction to the show.
And it's also
Yeah,
happily disconnected from any major long-running arcs. Like, they mentioned the bees disappearing offhandedly, but there's no
Yeah.
moment when Rose pops up on the monitor and the audience gets to go, "What? There she is!" to confuse
Well,
new
this-
viewers.
I
Like,
was
there's nothing like that
saying-
at all.
In Fires of Pompeii, this whole season does a really good job of like setting things up so subtly that you don't realize they're being set up.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I think the most, I guess, most unsubtle thing and most connected element is when the Ood Sigma at the end says, you know, you will die soon.
Yeah. And
like
that's not even
we
about this season.
yeah, I guess so.
It's about the specials later
specials.
on.
Yeah. I think in my mind, for some reason, the specials in this season are kind of mashed together. I'm not sure what that's
I
about,
mean,
but
yeah, that's fair.
yeah. But yeah.
I think we're basically at the end of the discussion now. Unless anyone has any extra things to add, I'm going to go
I think
ahead
so,
and
yeah.
score it.
Yeah, I
I will
can't think of anything
I'll
else
give
really.
Planet of the Ood is going to get an 8 from me.
An 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better be out of 8, I swear to God. I think it is such a good episode, honestly. I think ultimately I don't think it breaks the mold in any specific way, but I do think that if you were gonna, it's like, just in terms of what it is done.
Well, you say that, but in a way, it kind of does break the mold a little bit with the sort of retconning by saying, "Oh, hey, remember this group of slaves that the Doctor didn't pay much attention to last time? Well, here they are, and remember, they're slaves, and that's not a good thing." So
Yeah.
there is a little bit of innovation, I suppose. All that said, I am torn at this point between an 8 and a 9. It is pretty good. I think I'm still going to go with an 8 though. Yeah, a really super solid 8, shall we say?
I'm
do you
going to
think, Sam?
say 8.5.
We don't do
You
decimals, Sam. You should know this by now.
I don't care. I've given my number, and there's really nothing you can do about it, is there?
I personally think it's absolutely. I think it didn't blow. There's no gut punches in this episode, really.
Yeah.
But I think it is so flawless in every other way, and so I'd give it a 9. but also this episode does contain fan favorite character Ood with Gun, which I think deserves a point in unto itself. So I'm gonna have to give it a 10.
Okay, I was gonna. I was
Alrighty.
gonna say I was gonna give that extra point to Sam to bump it up from an 8.5 to a 9, just
Yeah,
to break that tie.
beloved Ood with Gun, fan favorite character.
Let's make it a 9
yeah.
for Ood Gun.
Ood with Gun, we love you, Ood with Gun. I think ultimately is it the greatest episode of Doctor Who of all time? Probably not, but I think it is such a good, well encapsulated episode of everything that I like about the show, everything that I like about this specific run. It has a lot of my favorite things in Doctor Who, not only just like, having David Tennant there, having Donna there, the best companion, and showing a lot of what is good about both of them, but it just does so in such an economical way that both as a viewer and as someone who does tell stories, I'm like, what a good job they've done here. It's like seeing a really good steak dinner. You're like, oh, they really just hit it out the park.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Before we wrap up this episode, James, anything to plug or anything you just want to say in general to sign off?
Everyone go wishlist beloved video game Anti-Citizen Red on Steam right now. It's fun for the whole family.
Already done it.
Excellent, as you should.
To be clear, that is your game.
Yeah. I'm one of the three guys making
just
it.
for the viewers who might not know.
It's not it's just look, I can plug another random game that I think is good that I haven't made.
Yeah, you actually can.
What else
Indie
is
developer Team Cherry is coming out with I don't know if anyone's heard of it, but the sequel to Hollow Knight called Silk Song. It's coming out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Actually,
a
at
Silk
time of
Song.
Word is not
it'll-
spread. I don't know if people are going to know about that one.
Yeah, true.
Mm.
We're rooting for you, Team Cherry.
Silk Song. Actually, on the day that releases, I'm actually releasing my own game, which I think is really funny.
That's hilarious.
The one that I've been working on for the past 2-ish weeks. Yeah. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for Employee of the Year of the Snake on itch.io. Yeah, that's my plugs.
Great. Next time on Two's Review, we'll be reviewing the Fourth Doctor episode, The Robots of Death. So look out for that one.
Mhm.
That's probably that episode might release on YouTube at around the same time that these games are dropping. So
That would rule. All right.
a fun triple drop.
I'll shoot you a link for Employee of the Year of the Snake, and then you can chuck it in a description or something.
Yeah, will do.
Please listen to our podcast while you're playing these new games.
Honestly, it would stress you
stream
out.
it.
Stream Employee of the Year of the Snake. What a good episode to listen to in conjunction with that.
Jesus. But till next time, I'm Alex.
I'm Fitz.
I'm Sam.
And I'm living in your walls.
And remember,
Yeah, right now.
remember, the circle must be broken.
Remember to drink your oestrogen.
Oh dear.